Today we're doing the camera test between the Google Pixel 2 XL and the OnePlus 6. Yes, hello, welcome. So now we're gonna take some pictures and videos of this summer day here in Sweden, and we're gonna compare the Google Pixel 2 XL and the OnePlus 6. Let's look into the camera hardware of both phones. As you see, the OnePlus 6 is rocking a dual camera setup with a 60 megapixels and a 20 megapixel lenses. And both of these lenses has an f-aperture of 1.7, while the Pixel 2 XL only has one single lens, and this is a 12.2 megapixel lens with an f-aperture of 1.8. And this means that the rear camera of the OnePlus 6 has a lower f-aperture, and it means that it should take in more light than the Pixel 2 XL and perform better on low light pictures. The front-facing camera of the OnePlus 6 is a 60 megapixels lens with an f-aperture of 2.0, while the Pixel 2 XL has an 8 megapixel lens with an f-aperture of 2.4, and this means that the OnePlus 6 should also here be able to take in more light than the Pixel 2 XL due to the lower f-aperture, and should perform better in low light images. As you can see in video recording, the OnePlus 6 can actually record 4K video with 60 FPS, and this is due to the Snapdragon 845. The Pixel 2 XL on the other hand can only record 4K video with 30 FPS. You can also see the power of the Snapdragon 845 in the slow motion video. The OnePlus 6 can record slow motion video of 720p with 480 FPS, while the Pixel 2 XL records 720p slow motion with 240 FPS. When we look into the hardware specifications of both cameras and the numbers, we clearly see that the OnePlus 6 is a better camera, but numbers isn't everything. We have to see and try it out in the field, because software plays a huge role into the camera, and Google has put a lot of work into the Google image processing, and let's see how it performs outside. So now we're gonna take some pictures and videos and test it out. This is the rear camera of the OnePlus 6, and it's a really nice pictures with the vibrant colors and the green pop out. But it's a little too oversaturated and it tends to get a little unnatural. While we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it brings it down a little, and you see the colors still do pop out and the greens are very nice, but it just feels a little more natural. And as you can see in the background there, the blacks of the shadows mixes very well with the greens of the trees. And here you see side by side that the Pixel 2 XL, it looks a little more warmer and a little more natural. Here we see the greens, they look a little too oversaturated, and while we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it brings it down a little bit and it feels a little more natural. And side by side you see that the Pixel 2 XL, it looks a little more natural, what you would see with your eye, but the OnePlus 6 tend to oversaturate the colors, but many people do prefer the oversaturated look. What do you prefer? But I would say that I prefer the natural look and would go with the Pixel 2 XL here. Here we see that the blue sky and the green grass really mixes well together on the OnePlus 6, and it's a really nice image. But while we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it looks a little more dull, and actually side by side I prefer the OnePlus 6 in this image. The blue sky looks a little more popping and a little more alive. And here is a picture of the garage, and it's a solid image, nothing so much fancy going on here. But while we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it really mixes well with the light here, and the brown and red colors are very accurate and pop out. And as you see side by side, the Pixel 2 XL brings in the light in the image more better than the OnePlus 6, and the colors of the browns and red are more accurate on the Pixel 2 XL, and it looks much cleaner and better. This is a portrait of me taken with the OnePlus 6 camera, and it looks very nice, and it's a solid image, and you see the red shoes really pop out there. Same goes for Pixel 2 XL, a very nice image, and you see the red shoes pop out there. Side by side I actually don't see much of a difference here. Both cameras perform very well, I think. The only difference I see, the slight difference here, is the sleeves of my jacket. On the OnePlus 6 the whites are a little punchier, and on the Pixel 2 XL it's a little more natural look there on the sleeves. And here we see another portrait of me taken with the rear camera here, and it's a nice image. You see the background there, the greens and the gray asphalt, a very nice solid image. And on the Pixel 2 XL it brings down the colors and it takes out that more natural vibe feeling there again. Side by side you see that the OnePlus 6 is a little more punchier, and you see the greens in the background there. It's a pops out more, and you almost don't see the shadows on the OnePlus 6 there in the background of the greens. But on the Pixel 2 XL you see the blacks and the greens mixes well together, and it makes of more a natural image here. Here we use the portrait mode of the rear camera of both devices, and as you see the OnePlus 6 did a good job and it brings the focus on me. But I think that the Pixel 2 XL did a better job. It looks a little more polished and a more refined picture here. Side by side we see that the Pixel 2 XL looks a little more clean and polished here. Here we experiment a little bit with the portrait mode of both phones. We wanted to see if the phone could detect the whole body and put a focus on the whole body and blur out the background. The OnePlus 6 didn't do a fantastic job. As you can see, my shoes is a little blurred out. But while we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it did a fantastic job. It took out the whole body, put focus on the body, and the background is a little blurred out there. So it did a good job with the portrait mode from a long distance. And as you see here side by side, you see that the Pixel 2 XL looks a little more refined, polished, and it takes focus of the whole body here. Here we see a picture taken with the front facing camera, and it looks very nice and clean, a solid image here. And same goes for Pixel 2 XL, a solid image here, looks very nice and clean, and the background there pops out. While we look at them side by side, I feel that the Pixel 2 XL has a slightly more advantage here, because the skin tone on the Pixel 2 XL looks a little more accurate. I feel that on the OnePlus 6 it smoothens out my face a little too much there. Here is another picture taken with the front facing camera, and here we use the portrait mode of both devices, and as you can see the OnePlus 6 did a great job with the portrait mode. It really focused the image on me and blurs out the background, and I think the OnePlus 6 did a fantastic job. While we look at the Pixel 2 XL, here it also did a fantastic job, brings the focus on me and blurs out the background. While we look at the images side by side, I feel that the Pixel 2 XL has the advantage because the colors are more accurate. The blacks are black and the whites are whites of my jacket, and the skin tone is a little more natural. The OnePlus 6 again smooths out my face too much. And as we see, the portrait mode here on the Pixel 2 XL is a little better than the OnePlus 6. I feel that the OnePlus 6 does too much of a contrast there between me and the background. But the Pixel 2 XL does a more natural work here with the background blurred out and the focus on me. Here's another image taken with the front facing camera using the portrait mode, and as you can see the OnePlus does a good job with the portrait mode. It blurs out the background, but it does the contrast a little too strong there between me and the background. And it doesn't mix well with the lighting here, because also here you see that the black and white of my jacket aren't so accurate colors here. But on the Pixel 2 XL the lighting is perfect. It mixes well together with the lighting. The blacks and white of my jacket are very nice and clean, natural, popping looking, and you can see that the focus here is on me and the background is blurred out, but it does it more natural work here than the OnePlus 6. And side by side we see that the Pixel 2 XL has the advantage here and does a much better job than the OnePlus 6 does. Here we tried out the low light performance of both devices using the rear camera, and as you can see the OnePlus 6 did a great job. It's a very dark environment, but the OnePlus 6 does bring out the colors, and you can see the greens and gray there. But compared to the Pixel 2 XL, The Pixel 2 XL does a much better job than the OnePlus 6, and you can see the black shadows there in the trees and the green mixes well together, and you can see the gray of the rocks, and it just makes a better image here. If we see them side by side, we can see that clearly Pixel 2 XL here is the winner. A more realistically looking image here. Here is another low light image, and the OnePlus 6 does a solid job here. You can see me and you can see the trees and the greens here. Does a great job. But the Pixel 2 XL does a slightly better job here. It looks much brighter, and you can see the trees there and you can see the branches, and I feel side by side we see that the Pixel 2 XL is a slightly better on the low light image here. Here's another low light image of the front facing camera, and as you can see the OnePlus 6 did a fantastic job. You can see Suten here and the background there, the greens, and it's just a very nice and solid sharp image. But when we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it does an okay job. It doesn't look as refined and it doesn't look as sharp as the OnePlus 6 did. Side by side we can see clearly the OnePlus 6 does a better job here with the front facing camera in low light than the Pixel 2 XL does. The Pixel 2 XL looks a little unsharp and a little unrefined there. Here we use the front facing flash with the front facing camera, and as you can see the OnePlus 6 did a very nice job here. It looks very crisp and sharp, and the skin actually looks very nice and smooth. But when we look at the Pixel 2 XL, it doesn't do as a fantastic job as the OnePlus 6 did. The background is all black and you cannot see anything almost, and the skin tone looks very unnatural looking, and overall side by side we see that the OnePlus 6 does a much better job here, and the Pixel 2 XL looks very dark and not so natural here. Here we see a recording of the rear camera, and for both devices we are using the 1080p 30 fps because we are outputting our content in 1080p 30 fps, and as you can see for both devices here I actually am not so very impressed here. It doesn't mix as well with the lighting, and it doesn't do a color accurate job here, and it just does an okay job here for both devices. Not so impressed, but I think that the OnePlus 6 does a slightly better job than the Pixel 2 XL does with the colors, but I think they could have done better. Here is the front facing camera, and as you can see the OnePlus 6 does a good job, but as same for the rear camera, I feel that the lighting could have been a little more well executed here. And this is the Pixel 2 XL. It does a similar job as the OnePlus 6 with the colors. It's okay, but the lighting could have been a little better executed here. And as you can see here side by side they look very similar, but here you can see the lighting could have been a little better executed. So this was the camera comparison between the Google Pixel 2 XL and the OnePlus 6. Me and Suten, we both think that the Google Pixel 2 XL won. It's a little more natural colors, while the OnePlus 6 has a little more saturated, oversaturated pictures. But it's a good camera, but the Google 2 Pixel XL wins on this regards. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share this video, and don't forget that bell icon so you can get notified when we upload some videos. And remember, this is Julian and Suten.